The Battle of Midway, on June 3, 1942, during World War II. One of the biggest sea and air battles of World War II, and probably one of the most decisive in the Pacific, started when Admiral Yamato of the Japanese Empire in World War II starts the Battle of Midway by sending Japanese forces to the Aleutian Islands off the coast of Alaska. They thought it will surprise the Americans, but Admiral Nimitz, an American officer, sent out American forces to stop the Japanese ships from getting to the islands by defeating them before they got there. Then, when an American plane spotted the Japanese ships, he alerted the American forces at Midway. Then the American forces sent out 9 B-17 bomber planes to take out the fleet, but they missed their targets. Then on June 4th, one day after the battle started, 15 B-17 bombers are sent to find and attack any Japanese forces in the area around Midway. But the Japanese sent 108 aircraft. After America sent 4 separate groups of planes to attack the Japanese forces, at 5:56, the Japanese planes reached Midway and started to attack the American base. But, unlike Pearl Harbor, America was ready and started to fire at the Japanese planes. But the Japanese aircraft did manage to take out American runways, hangars, and hospitals on the island. Then, American aircraft started to bomb a Japanese fleet. The Japanese forces planned to start another bombing raid on Midway, but the American fleet sent aircraft to attack the Japanese fleet. But all American planes were shot down. But then more American planes are sent to take out the Japanese fleet. American planes managed to hit one of the Japanese planes named Kaga. Then the American forces again bombed another Japanese ship named Saryu. And after that, the Japanese ship Akagi is bombed and destroyed. After this, Japanese and American planes fought in the air, stopping the Japanese advance towards American ships, but ultimately failed as Japanese planes attacked the American ship called Yorktown. The Yorktown is not destroyed, though it is still functional and can and will participate in the battle. But yet, again, the Yorktown is struck by Japanese planes. The American admiral on board orders the men on board to abandon ship. Then the final Japanese ship called the Haryu is taken out. Now, the reason this battle was so critical during World War II is because Midway was in between of America and Japan. If Japan took Midway, they could have bombed America. They could have done a lot of things that would have altered the course of the war, and they could have even won. So this is one of the most crucial parts of World War II in the Pacific, or in the war in general.